Hey guys, I'm Fancy.
And I'm Colleen.
And this is Murder by Design.
Sound.
Shit. And as always, I messed it up. I didn't turn off my headphones. Sorry, guys.
You got this in the video.
I swear to you, one day I'm going to get it all right every time, but it's not today, not today.
Well, like Todd said last night when we were recording, if everything is working out appropriately, something is wrong.
Someone is dying. Something is happening. The world is coming to an end. I don't know.
All right, world is over.
Well, hey guys, welcome back to our Friday Night Live. We know we've been a bit sporadic lately, but we're back and so excited to bring you all the amazing content we are working on. From serial killers around the world to a brand new season of The Good Wives coming in January, we've got some great content in the works. And you'll be able to see me in a brand new special about Gypsy and Nick sometime in January over on the A&E's channel and on Law and Crime Network. So totally excited about that. And we assure you, our experts are going to be coming back to give some great insight on so many new cases. If you haven't checked out our newest podcast, Gone Cold with the Good Wives and Todd Matthews, you absolutely need to. You can find it on any of the major podcast players, including Amazon Music now, or you can find everything we do on our website at madgingerentertainment.com.
Can you just say those channels that it's going to be on again one more time?
A&E and Law and Crime Network. I'm super excited about it, and apparently I'm the only one that was participating in it, so I get to do some really cool stuff. She even said that I end up getting like almost the last word, other than like the little wrap up that they do at the end, but I get like the last word on the subject, and she said it was pretty profound, so I'm super excited to see what they ended up doing. I had a great interview. It was amazing. So
yes, we are excited to see it.
And we were just at CrimeCon too, guys. So we had a great time there. And we're going to try and come back for 2021 in Austin. So hopefully, cross your fingers, we'll be there with you guys. So,
but tonight's episode is one that we have been dying to talk about. So if you're a true crime nut like we are, I'm sure you've seen the reboot of Unsolved Mysteries. I like it, but it doesn't have that feel that the old one did. It's just not the same without the host's voice. As always, with anything, when the voice changes, it's a new voice actor. It's different.
It's different.
Anyway, tonight we're discussing the case from the first episode of the new series, and it's Rey Rivera. Strange tales, weird cryptic messages, staged crime scenes, corrupt businessmen. This case has it all.
It totally does. It's such a crazy case, and we're only going to get to a certain amount of it tonight because there is so much more to this. So you'll be hearing more about it. So anyway, well, you know, we always like to start with the who, what, when, and where of the case. So let's start off with a little background on Rey. Rey Rivera was born June 10th, 1973. He grew up in a really tight-knit family, and at the time of his disappearance, he was 32, and he was working at the Oxford Club as a finance writer and a videographer.
Rey and his newlywed wife, Allison, had relocated from California to Baltimore so that Rey could work for his longtime friend Porter Stansbury at Porter's investment firm, Stansbury and Associates Investment Research, a subsidiary of Agora Publishing. However, 6 months before his disappearance, he left the company, but Stansbury alleges that Rey was still doing freelance work for the parent company, Agora Publishing. And you'll be hearing that name again.
Stansbury. Remember that name because it's very important. I don't really get into it a whole lot in this episode, but we are going to be talking about him more in the future. So on March 16th, 2006, Rey allegedly received a call from the Agora Publishing switchboard, according to a guest in Rey's home, and he ran to the house in a rush. This was denied by Agora. They say that call did not come from their switchboard, and that nobody from the company called him. And there's actually a document that I found, it seems to be that it's from Agora or somebody that worked for Agora. It's a really strange little thing. I'm gonna actually include it in our Patreon account. I'll link to it because it's really weird. Because it basically like is just somebody's written document about how all this is wrong, but it's super weird. But anyway, they say that they did not call him, but Ray never returned home after that phone call. And instead, and he rushed out of the home in just flip-flops and like casual attire. He didn't like put on a jacket.
Right, not Ray's usual attire.
Right. And so instead, on March 24th, 2006, his body was found badly mangled in an unused floor of the Belvedere Hotel in Mount Vernon neighborhood of Baltimore, Maryland. The death was ruled a suicide by the Baltimore police, but the circumstances of the case just don't add up. Now, the actual county coroner or medical examiner, they actually ruled the death as
undetermined.
Undetermined. Yeah, I couldn't think of the word undetermined because they could not determine based off of the difference of opinions of things that happened and the way that the body was. It was inconclusive as to whether it was a suicide or a homicide or accidental or
just not enough information.
Yeah, they just didn't have enough. So yeah. Now, I mean, this case, I have a pretty clear idea of what I think happened, but this is just a strange, odd case. And I really like the idea of the fact that this case was one of the first cases where I got to really look at like a staged crime scene idea.
Yes.
I mean, they happen a lot of different things. Obviously serial killers do things like that. There's different stuff, but this one was really interesting. And I'm not a mathematics person, but the math on this is incredible. Like to explain why this is not probable,
Well, and then our listeners are going to get to hear see our interview with Dr. Laura Petler, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
To make sure I get her name right, on the staged crime scene and how this worked out. And that's really when we talked to her was the first time I'd really even heard about the case. I hadn't watched the episode yet.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was very eye-opening into what, either a staged crime scene or some seriously fluke, mental health craziness that happened, but there's too many other details that just
don't add up.
It just doesn't add up.
It's a very interesting case. Like, you have to kind of look and read between the lines with this case. There's a cryptic message involved. The Freemasons are somehow connected in this. I mean, it's very sordid. So let's get into talking about the staged crime scene. So right away, there is so much stuff in this case that doesn't make sense and just does not add up. Ray's wife's parents joined in the search for their son-in-law, and after several days of searching for him, they located his car in a parking lot near his work in Mount Vernon. So then this in turn leads his co-workers, and I'm thinking that these have to be co-workers from either Agora or Stansbury, but I don't know. Anyway, they go up to the top of a parking structure near the Belvedere and they find a hole in the roof of the Belvedere, which this hole is very suspicious. And so then police then find Ray's decomposing body in a conference room under the roof because this was a non-used floor of the Belvedere. Now, why they ruled it a suicide, nobody really knows. Perhaps there was some pressure from some wealthy businessmen, or maybe they were just not all that observant or trained in trajectory or speed or velocity. But it's pretty clear Ray didn't jump off the roof or cause that hole. Now that hole it wasn't just a hole. There was pieces of the roof that were decomposing, that were dilapidated and falling in. There were beams that were broken. It wasn't just a fall that caused this hole. Now, if he fell through the hole, okay, that's a little more plausible that he fell through the hole that was already there. But him making of this hole from falling,
no. Well, falling from that height, no.
Mm-hmm. No.
And I just think it's interesting that they find his car in the parking lot, so then they just go to this
right
parking structure. Why is that the first?
Yeah,
go to the top of the parking structure. Why?
Yeah, no, No. Charlene Charlena Wilson says maybe he was pushed out of a helicopter. They actually, well, we're going to talk about that. They actually did investigate that, and it did not seem that that was the case either. So we'll be talking about that here a little bit. But yeah, no, that doesn't seem to be the case. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. My thought process isn't, oh, his car is right here. Well, let's go to the top of a parking structure and just look for him. Like, why would he be on the top of a parking structure or the top of the Belvedere? What would make you think that that is what he is doing? Unless he had told you, I'm going to jump off a building. Like, you know. Like,
well, right. And like, okay, his car is, say it's on like level 1 of this parking structure. I wouldn't then go to the roof and be like, okay, well, what is near this parking structure that he would have gone into? Let's go inside of a building and figure out where the hell he was. Let's go to the top and see if we can find a hole.
Right. No, exactly. It just seemed that was one of the things that was glaring to me. Like, why? Why were they up there? What were they doing? So.
Right. So we had the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Laura Petler, as I said, an expert in staged crime scenes, and she agreed that the crime scene seemed totally off. We'll be putting that interview with her out on Sunday, so make sure you come back and check it out. She gives great insight not only into this case, but some staged crime scenes in general, and she even tells us about her amazing murder room that she says she can solve almost 100% of cases that are brought into that room.
So let's talk about the jump first. So the vertical direct distance of approximately 177 feet would have taken approximately 3.3 seconds to clear and jump off into this other structure. This suggests if he did come from the roof and traveled a horizontal distance of 43 feet before impact, he would have had to have a horizontal speed of 10 miles per hour, which is between a fast jog and a sprint for an average fit male wearing sports shoes. Ray was wearing flip-flops or barefoot and would have had a maximum run up of just over 15 feet and only giving him about 2.5 seconds before he jumps. So this is near impossible. The angle would have been all wrong.
Right. So there's just not enough room for him to have gotten up that much speed to be able to jump that amount. He's wearing the wrong shoes to even be able to get close to that kind of speed. It's just not right.
It's just not right.
So perhaps maybe he jumped from a different floor, much lower. That seems unlikely because the lower ledge that people suggest he might have jumped off of is from private condominiums and offices, so access would have been hard to gain. There's also no CCTV footage of him arriving or leaving the building or anywhere in the building, so the angle from the ledge is wrong for where his body was found.
And the police apparently requested the security cam footage from the Belvedere, and somehow it was unobtainable. That's questionable in my mind. But I mean, there's no indication that he ever went into the Belvedere. Nobody saw him go into the Belvedere. No one saw him come out of the Belvedere. No one in the Belvedere came forward and said, oh yeah, I saw that guy walking through the hallway when I was on my way to get ice. Nothing. He was never seen inside of there himself. So that's very suspicious to me. But another odd thing about this is that Ray's sunglasses and phone were found intact on the lower roof near the hole. It seems implausible that they would have sustained the fall with no injury to them. But the phone was not shattered or scratched, and it was still in working order. And the sunglasses, they were fine as well. According to 11/9 News, former police commander Mel Blizzard, who specializes in behavioral assessment, and he reviewed evidence in this case, and when asked if the phone would have been intact after a fall like that, he answered, "It is possible. I just find it highly unlikely with the type of kinetic energy hitting that rooftop at the time," he said. "I definitely feel that there are a lot of unanswered questions and a lot of loops that need to be closed," end quote.
Yeah. I mean, this is not 2020 where cell phones have the shatterproof glass thing and they're built more resistant and OtterBox cases.
Do you know how many freaking phones I have shattered just dropping it on the floor from me standing here?
Right. And so like this is, I don't know what type of phone he had, but 2006, I'm picturing either a Razor or like a first edition type touch screen phone.
Motorola flip
Yeah.
a switch, like the
Um,
switch one where you could
flip
where you
it. Yeah. Like,
have the keyboard. Yeah.
right. We're not here
No.
yet.
No.
The first iPhone, I think, came out in 2008,
I don't know.
2009. And it was just like a normal like iPod touch. Like, it was not great.
Right.
And so I broke so many of those flip phones doing jack crap to them. Like,
Yeah.
they're fragile things. And along with his sunglasses, I don't know. You're falling 100 and some feet. Your body is mangled. How did your phone end up not on you and it just fine?
What do you guys think? Do you guys think that the phone would have made it from a fall of 177 feet and be intact? Do you guys think so? Drop it in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. So another strange piece of evidence in this case is a cryptic note that was found written in a very tiny script. So I think it was typed out in like very minuscule script, and it was placed in plastic and taped to his computer screen along with a blank check. Like, I don't understand what the blank check has to do with anything. That's very strange, but I don't know where it plays in, It seemed like the note had greater meaning or could perhaps be a code written for a specific person to understand. Yeah, the Blackberries were very popular then.
Yeah.
You're right, Charlena. Yeah.
I had a flip Blackberry.
Yeah. I had the one that you pushed to the side and typed on.
I had that too. I got a new phone probably every year because I broke it.
Yeah. Because you broke it.
I just, my little middle school, they're just typing, texting, where you have to press the button 3 times to get to see.
Yes.
Children will never know. But this note seemed to detectives like some sort of conscious thought. Or again, it could have just been a specific person who would understand what the message was that Rey was conveying. The note was addressed to brothers and sisters and referenced a pretty popular game or movie about a game. It had named people who died, including actor Christopher Reeve and filmmaker Stanley Kubrick. It also contained a long list of people Rivera knew or was related to, with a request to make them and himself 5 years younger.
I don't understand what that means. I don't.
This is a mental health issues.
I want to be 5 years younger. I don't know.
It's just 5. Me and all of you need to be 5 years younger. 5? Why 5? Why not 10?
Why not 15? Hell, let's go back to being in high school. But anyway, right? And then here's where the Freemasonry comes in. The note opened and closed with Freemasonry sayings, and it was later uncovered. 2 different things: that he had bought a book about Freemasonry for dummies. Gotta love those dummies books. And then it was later uncovered that on the day of his death, Rey had made a call to the local chapter inquiring about joining. His brother Angel said that Rey was interested in the organization because of their ability to have well-hidden secrets. And the member he spoke with said that upon being questioned, that the conversation was not unusual and seemed like any other inquiry to join their organization. So Baltimore Police Commander Fred Belford alleged that Rey's interest in Freemasonry seemed to involve a link he thought he uncovered between Hollywood, where he aspired to be a writer, and control by the Masonic community. I myself have looked at some of this, and I can honestly say it does beget a bigger investigation. That's pretty much all I'm going to say about it.
This case is interesting, and we have learned some more details that the show, didn't really go through, and there's been updates on the case. So we've learned recently that after Rey was dead, when his wife went to the police station to pick up his things, including his computer, the officer had said that someone had called several times asking if they could come pick it up and was very interested in his electronics. Could that person have been involved in Rey's death? What was on them that they wanted?
Very interesting. Very good questions. Tell us what you think. And we also know that there was that phone call that Rey got that day. He was last seen by his family that made him rush off. We don't know who called or what was discussed, but no one has come forward saying they were the one who called him. Is this the same person that was calling to find out about his electronics, possibly?
And then, like Charlena said, was Ray thrown from a helicopter? So the writer of the book, Makita Brotman, The Unexplained Death, The True Story of the Body at the Lookout, says that the hole that Ray would have made was larger on the inside than on the outside, like a high height fall. They looked at the air traffic control and they didn't find anything, but they said that helicopters are common in the area and that noise would not have been out of the ordinary. Ray's friend Porter Stansbury did not attend Ray's funeral or memorial, and when he went to Ray's wedding, he arrived by private helicopter.
See, my money's on Stansbury, I'm telling you.
That's my bet. He's too suspicious.
So, we thought we would dig a little deeper and we would share a couple of theories from around the world. So, and around the web and Reddit unsolved theories. These are Reddit unsolved theories. We do not say whether we subscribe to these theories or not. We just thought they were interesting enough to present. So, one of those is based on the letter that was found behind Ray's computer in the hotel room. It was full of random, crazy information. The Reddit thread says that Ray mentioned the movie The Game in the letter. That movie is about a game that makes the player lose everything to appreciate life and what they have. At the end of the movie, the main character jumps off the roof through a glass ceiling. Was Ray trying to mimic that movie? I guess there was a glass ceiling near the hole that was made on that ceiling where his body was found. Now, I've watched that movie and I thought it was excellent. And it does kind of go to this kind of, I don't know, story case. Yeah, I mean, it does have very big similarities, I do agree.
He mentions it in the letter, so it's why. The thread also explains that the letter is quite crazy and really goes to show that Ray had some sort of mental illness happening that could have been making him act strange and not himself. But it's not the game theory is not the only crazy theory in that letter. Oh no. There's the theory that when he talks about the Freemasons in the letter, that he was wanting to join that organization, and that blank check was a letter. With the letter was an initiation fee check.
And somebody says that it was a speech that was supposed to be given at some place in the way that it was stylized and written, and that the note was in code, and it was really him writing out help in code.
That as a screenwriter, that this was just a screenplay he had been writing. It's crazy screenplay, but his wife, Allison, said that that's what she most believes, that most likely it was just ideas, kind of things for a screenplay. But the least crazy thing is that this is just a list or a note of ramblings that don't connect and mean absolutely nothing.
Right. And so, I mean, the note is very interesting to me because they even sent it off to the FBI to investigate it because it seemed so strange. And the FBI did confirm that it didn't seem suicidal in nature. They say that there were no mental issues or depression. I mean, he was a man that was in good standing. He just gotten married, and his wife and him were looking forward to starting a family. He has a very close-knit family that they, very close in touch with them. So it's not like he came from like some, crazy background that maybe he wasn't doing well, or they just don't find any of that. Now, there are allegations around the web that maybe he did have some of those things, then that Allison isn't being truthful about it. And that his family is just trying to cover it up so that they can, kind of go on this witch hunt for Stansbury. But I
see no evidence that Allison isn't telling the truth. And so, it's that the coincidences and issues with his friend Porter are the standouts to me.
And when we talked to Dr. Laura Petler, we actually got into some of more of the other things that were really strange. Like there were phone calls to the house that were strange. There was strange. There were things like, I think there was a screen window that was either cut or taken off. There was people that were like stalking the house. And hi, kitty, which one is that?
Mrs. Maple.
Hi, Maple. So there's a lot more information in the interview that we are going to release with Dr. Laura Petler, but we've given you a lot to think about in this case, and I do highly recommend watching the Unsolved Mystery episode on this case and listening to the interview we did with Dr. Laura Petler this Sunday. However, there's so much more to this case that we have decided to do an episode special for our Patreon, our yearly members, and our newest feature that we're going to be releasing here on YouTube, subscribers, going into much more detail about this case. We'll be setting up our YouTube subscriptions next week, and we have some great stuff planned for our members. But we want to know what you think about this case. Do you think that we believe it was suicide? Do you guys believe it was suicide, or do you agree that it looks like foul play? Who do you think is the person guilty of his death if you believe it is foul play? My money, like I said, is on our friend, his friend Porter, but I could be wrong. So let us know in the comments exactly what you think, and please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and share the video. Charlena, I think there is some stuff about his autopsy that we're going to go into in that episode. I think we might also speak with Joseph Scott Morgan, because I think we talked with him a little bit about this case, but we didn't really go into full detail. Come here, Rowdy. Sorry, my dog is wanting in the picture now. This is Rowdy, everyone. Say hi, Rowdy. Anyway, yeah, so I think we are going to get into some of that stuff when we do the bonus episode for this. I think we talk a little bit about it with Dr. Laura Petler. We talked about a lot of stuff.
It's an in-depth interview with her.
It's a really great interview with her. And she'll be joining us again to talk about a lot of different things. So
we're currently working on some really amazing things right now. We're partnering with Cheryl Mack McCollum, one of our regular guests, on a charity event that she does called Wine and Crime. We're super excited about that. And we already told you about our second podcast and a returning of our third season of The Good Wives. So be sure to check those out, and don't miss us here on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time for our live crime of the month. And this month we're covering Diane Downs.
It's a crazy case too.
Yep. Oh, they're all crazy cases.
They're all crazy cases. But she is one of the original, OG Moms Who Kill cases that I followed, from the very beginning. I read Anne Rule's Small Sacrifices. I love this book. It's probably my favorite one by Anne Rule.
Ooh, she's got a lot. So that's...
she's got a lot. And now her daughter, Leslie, is writing true crime as well. And I've connected with Leslie a couple of times. She was supposed to do the show. She's had some internet connection issues because I think she lives kind of remotely. But we're trying to get her back in contact to do an episode with us. So I've been trying to see if I can get her on. And she's really sweet, super sweet, but she's a great writer, just like her mom. She's definitely carrying her mom's flame, so but like we said, we've got a lot going on, and we add more and new things every single day. So we talk about new stuff, new cases, and I think we're going to be doing a lot more coverage of courtroom cases on on here, where we just tap into the courtroom link and cover the bigger court cases. So you guys can just watch those here. We're thinking about doing those live more often. But anyway, guys, so thanks so much for tuning in and dishing true crime with the Good Wives and Murder by Design. Don't forget to join our Patreon member club to get exclusive mini episodes, inside documents, and pictures from the case, live YouTube discussions, or exclusive discussion group on Facebook, and get some Good Wives merch.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at True Crime Wives. And for more inside information, check out our podcast, The Good Wives Guide to True Crime, on any of your favorite podcast players, or our website, imagineyourentertainment.com.
Have a good one from The Good Wives, serving up true crime one dish at a time. I'm taking forever.